It's The Session. I'm your host, Michelle Nicole Charles, and I have my lovely co-host as well, Ari, in the building.
What's going on, everybody?
Today we have a very special guest. We always have special guests, but this one is very, very special. You've seen her on the dance floor multiple times, rocking out stages. Multiple times she's danced for Robin Thicke, Usher, Ciara, Neo, LaToya Luckett, Jennifer Lopez, Tina Turner, and the most legendary as well, Beyonce. We have Ashley Everett in the building. What's up, Ashley?
What's up, y'all? Thanks for having me.
Yes. Ashley, you've done so much in your career.
I am blessed and very thankful and grateful to have done so much at such a quote-unquote young age.
No, seriously.
I mean, I did do it young, but now I'm not as young. But yeah, I've done a lot. I've knocked off a lot on my
you've been
checklist.
Featured like on the X Factor, Shake It Up, on Disney, Glee, Hit the Floor on VH1.
Ooh, you know the resume. Come on. She did her homework.
Absolutely. Like, you've done a lot. And that's very rare for dancers because dancers are usually behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sure. No one really knows their name or anything like that. But you found some kind of way, somehow to become a star yourself.
Thank you.
You know? And that's pretty admirable.
Thank you.
So I'm pretty sure we have young women who probably look up to you, and I know they look up to you, and they're probably trying to figure out, how the hell did you do that?
Did I get where I am
today?
Right.
Yes.
I wonder that about many of us. We all want to know the secrets.
Absolutely.
Everyone's journey is different, you know?
Yep.
But one big thing that I think I started at a young age that paid off to get me to where I am today is I started branding myself. And that's what, you know, a lot of dancers, we are looked at as background dancers and just backup dancers, the bottom of the barrel. You know, we like get treated the worst, we get paid the least, we have the earliest call times, we stay the longest, we're physically active, we don't get lunch breaks, you know, just all these things where dancers are kind of downgraded or just looked at like we're not worthy. So I started like branding myself. You know, I started the red curly hair, which I have not changed since I went red, you know, and that's part of my look now. People look for the hair in me. Like, is Ashley on stage? Oh, there she is. That's how I spot her, because of her big red hair.
And it works for you because you just recently performed with Cardi B, right?
Cardi B? No, I didn't.
No, that wasn't you? Okay, because I saw a clip last night, and I was just like, I saw red curly hair.
Somebody might have
someone's like, ooh, be flattered. You know, often imitated, never duplicated.
There you go.
So
I
was
just
like,
say
let me ask her if that was her. Okay, so that wasn't you.
It wasn't me, but I do love Cardi, so hey, shout out to her.
Okay, so branding is one of your main things that you do.
Yeah, for sure. And I also, you know, dance is my heart, my passion. I've been doing it since I was 2.5 years old. Like, I knew I was going to be a dancer. I never really wanted to be anything else but dance. I just wanted to dance. But, you know, I now, as I get older and I realize dancers' careers aren't the longest of them, you know, our knees and our backs ache and you get injuries, God forbid. So you have to like you can't have all your eggs in one basket, you know? So I've been dipping into like acting, fashion, modeling, hosting things, making appearances, women conferences, speaking engagements. It's been really cool.
And all this came from your passion, dancing, which is amazing. Yeah. So I like to take it back. I like to, so people can understand how the process. Yeah. Because people think you just get up and voila, you made it.
Right.
No, this takes time, years of practice. Like you said, you've been starting since 2.5 years old.
Girl.
You've been putting in work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, okay. So you started at 2.5, and then from there you just continued. Did you ever have like a dance break? Could your parents afford it throughout the entire time? Because I know it's expensive as hell.
It's very expensive.
Costumes, hair, makeup, all that. So how was that with your parents supporting your career and getting into that?
Well, I wouldn't be where I am today without my parents being so supportive. You know, they have been like my rock, my ride or die, my biggest fans. They believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself. And it, you know, shout out to them. I love you guys so much. Thank you for always holding me down. I will buy you a yacht when I have the money one day, okay? But yeah, I started 2.5, started with ballet. Ballet turned into jazz, tap, hip hop, you know, everything. I went to competitions. I was in a ballet company. I did pointe. I did everything. I was in every form of dance possible. And at 16, you know, I'm from a small town in Northern California. So by the time I was 16, I kind of had like outgrown my studio and needed to be pushed a little further, whether it was going to LA or New York or one of these bigger cities where I had more opportunity. And, you know, shout out to my parents again. They were like, you need to go to New York. I had been for like summer intensives before and like the past 4 years before that. And they were like, you know, I think that's where you need to go to start your career. And me and my mom up and moved. My parents are still married, still together, but my mom like went with me. My dad held down the house. My brother stayed home with him. Like we were just on opposite coasts trying to like pursue this little dance dream of mine. And, you know, dad holding it down at home. Like it was crazy. And so I was training at Alvin Ailey and randomly went to Beyonce audition. And I really thought my life was going to go down like the concert world. I thought I was going to be like in a ballet company or contemporary or modern company, like doing that kind of dance. And when I went to this Beyonce audition, everything kind of did like a 180. You know, of course I was still dancing, but it turned all the way commercial, like heels, hair flips, you know, artists, videos, tours, award shows, Good Morning America, Today Show, you know, that kind of thing.
I love it.
Where I was just used to like the studio world, you know.
Do you recommend for every dancer to learn ballet as their first dance?
I don't think ballet has to be your first,
Okay.
But I definitely think you should at least like take a class or two. Like you don't have to love it. I'm nobody's like crumper, but you know, I've like tried to learn it before just so I have like a little bit of knowledge in it, because the more knowledge you have, the more opportunities are presented to you and the more doors will open.
So you, at a point in your life, you had to choose from being accepted to go to Juilliard
Yes.
to picking Beyonce.
Yeah.
How was that? Was it like a no-brainer for you? Like, oh, I'm going to take this route? Or was that a really hard? Because
No.
it's really hard to get in that school.
Yeah.
And you are 1 out of 12, correct?
Yeah, 1 out of 12. Yeah.
So-
out of the world. Like
How? Okay, what was your thinking process? That was like a fork in the road. Like, your life
absolutely.
completely changed because you took this option.
Absolutely. First of all, Juilliard was always a dream of mine as a little girl. Like, do you remember Save the Last Dance?
Yes.
Like, who didn't want to go to Juilliard after that, you know? Like, I just knew that was going to be my world. I was going to go to Juilliard, and then I was going to be in an amazing company and just be this superstar concert dancer. And so when I got accepted, I was very excited. You know, I was graduating high school, going to college, and while on tour with Beyonce. And so it was going to work out perfectly, y'all. Like, tour was supposed to end the 1st and school was supposed to start like the 7th or something. I was like, great, I could do both, you know, best of both worlds. Tour got extended like 2 months. I'm like, fork in the road, like you said. What do? I'm 18 years old at the time. This is like my first like adult decision on my own, you know, like parents are like, whatever you want to do, we support you. You know, we're not going to tell you what to do. We're just going to let you choose. I'm asking like mentors and getting advice from other dancers and friends. And they're like, follow your heart. Do what you want to do. I'm like, guys, someone tell me what to do. I don't know. It was so hard because Juilliard was a huge dream of mine as well. But luckily, I got to do the summer intensive at Juilliard, so I got like a little bit of that experience.
You got a taste. Good.
Yeah, I got a taste of it. But ultimately, I decided to just continue working and building my career.
Which was a great choice.
Yes, I don't regret it. But I do wonder, you know, what if? Like, where would I be had I gone to Juilliard, you know? Like,
wow.
Life would be different.
Now, you said you started dancing with Beyonce at 17 or 18?
17.
How was the audition process? And I know you were discovered because you were dancing with the Rockets, right?
No, I did the Rockettes after my first tour with Beyonce.
Okay. So how did you get discovered? How did that happen?
I met her choreographer at the time, Frank Gatson, who's like my industry like dad. He like is my mentor. He discovered me at Alvin Ailey while I was in the halls about to like go to ballet class. My hair was in a bun. I'm in a leotard and tights. And he literally just stopped me based on my look. Because, you know, in this commercial industry, they're like, oh, you're really pretty. Or you have a great look. Do you dance? Or do you do other things? And he was like, do you do hip hop? Do you do anything besides ballet? I'm like, yes, I do it all. I do it all. Yes.
Did you know who he was or no?
I had heard through the grapevine who he was, but I didn't really know. And then Beyonce was rehearsing at Alvin Ailey at the time. So, of course, everyone's talking like, Beyonce. So he stopped me and I was like, yeah. I do everything. He invites me into the rehearsal, introduces me to her. That's my first time meeting her. Just so nice for no reason. Like, he doesn't know me from Jane Doe, you know? But he's like, come in, like, come watch this rehearsal. Let me get your information. Introduces me to her. She's so sweet, sweating, working her ass off, like barefoot, just going in. I was like, can I have a hug? She's like, I'm sweaty. I'm like, I don't care. You're Beyonce.
Okay.
Give me a hug. And that was my first time meeting him and her. And he took my information. And, not very surprising, he didn't call because he never saw me dance. Like, he literally just met me and took my information, which was very nice in the first place. So then a couple months later rolls around, this huge open call it's Beyonce is having, and like the whole world is going, like everyone's mom, grandma, children, like aunties, dogs, like anyone who was anyone was there. It was crazy. And I cut with some friends and still stood in line for 3 hours and auditioned, and he recognized me. He was like, I met you before at Alvin Ailey, right? Like, he remembered, like, hands down. I wasn't even going to say anything. I was like, he's not going to remember me. And then he did. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is fate. Like, this is literally like the epitome of like right place, right time, just fate. And the rest is kind of history. Like, call back. Beyonce came. That was their first time seeing me dance. They call and they're like, are you interested in doing a video or two? I'm like, absolutely. Flew to LA, did those. Videos turned into tour rehearsals, and then, the rest is kind of
I heard the audition process is very rigorous. It's
is.
Like not just you just show up and dance and then that's it.
And then
like,
you get a call.
She makes you guys do it like 800 times. Like
800 times, yeah.
So what? She makes you audition with heels on, without heels?
Yeah, well, nowadays, we, like the last tour that we did, we auditioned like about 4 routines just to see like how diverse you are. Like, do you have technique? Can you dance in heels? Can you get down and get grimy? Can you get ratchet? Like, we want to see the different textures of people. So yeah, it's very rigorous. We are in heels a lot of the time, but sometimes, she's gotten very into like different stuff too. So we're doing all types of dance. We can go anywhere from African to contemporary to heels and ratchet, like I said. And yeah, we do it all. It's crazy. It's really great, though. Like, I feel like she's one of the only artists out there who is still doing that and changes it up and isn't just stuck in one lane.
What is one takeaway that you learned from Beyonce because she has phenomenal work ethic?
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure you learned several lessons from her, but what is that one that you was just like, I remember when she said, or I remember when I saw this, that just, I changed my life, or it helped me get to where I'm at, or whatever the case may be?
I think just being around her, in her presence. Number one, if you are going to work with her and be in her camp, everyone has to have hard and serious work ethic, or else you will not last. So we are all very disciplined, and we all are not afraid of blood, sweat, tears to look a mess, because it's not about being beautiful in rehearsal. Like, we're trying to get the show right. Like, that's literally it at the end of the day. And what I think one of the biggest things that I am inspired by from her is that she just doesn't ever settle. Like, she's at the top. She could just sit her ass down and chill if she wanted to, but she's always going to push herself. Like, how do you go from when she came out with that Beyonce album that no one knew about and all those videos, and we were like, how are you going to outdo yourself now? She's like, I have a plan. And then she came out with Lemonade. Like, now you came out with a movie. Now how are you going to outdo yourself? She's gonna find a way, and she's always pushing herself to the next limit and always, just never settling. And I love that because she's Beyonce.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's
amazing. So let's see. I have so much questions.
Ask them all. That's why we're here.
Yes. All right. So do you usually have like a ritual before you hit the stage, or how do you get prepared before you go on?
Well, a lot of the times when we're like in our dressing room, we play like hype music, and sometimes we just like dance around with each other and get each other hype, and just like have fun and get excited for the show. And then we always like get together and pray before. But usually like right before I hit the stage, I always take a moment to myself to just, whether it's just like soaking in the energy of the audience and looking out and just like acknowledging that this is my life and saying a prayer to myself for like a minute. Like it's just like 30 seconds to myself. I just have to have like that little bit of time to myself to just thank God for these opportunities in life,
Yes. What are the challenges that you face while pursuing your career or while working in your career?
Well, I always say this. You're always going to get probably about 5 times as many no's before you get a yes. And even still, even after a big yes, you're still going to get told no many times. And what I've learned to accept is that not everything is for you. So it's not. And as much as I might want your job, it's for you, and my job is for me, or whatever I get is going to be for me. So that's part of this industry too. Like, I've been told no so many times, and it's not even necessarily always about your talent or lack of talent. Sometimes it's about what you look like, or how your skin complexion, or how tall you are, or how skinny or too skinny, or whatever, just the typecasting of this industry. That is always something that you have to deal with, and you have to learn how to deal with it the right way so you don't get hard on yourself and tear yourself apart.
You can't take it personal.
You cannot take it personal.
At that time, you might not be what they're looking for, and you just have to accept it and keep going, right?
Yep, keep pushing.
Absolutely. Is there any tips or advice for young women who want to pursue a dance career?
I would say, as long as you're passionate about it, keep fighting for it, because it's easy to feel like you want to give up or like you're not good enough. But if you love what you're doing, keep fighting for it and train as much as you can. Go to everyone's classes, even if you hate that class. Like I said, try a ballet class like once, try jazz, try tap. It only opens up more opportunity, and it introduces you to more people, more teachers, more students. You never know who's watching or who's going to be in the room. So
that's a good advice. Have you ever felt like you wanted to give up, or have you ever had doubt while you've been pursuing your career?
Well, I've been injured. I rolled my ankle in 2009, the day before our opening show on tour. And I was out for like 2.5 weeks. And I was the only returning female dancer. So all the new girls were like terrified. They're like, we can't do this show without you, Ashley. And I'm like, I can't do it. Like, you don't have a choice. You got to figure it out. But it was really scary, because I didn't know, like, I was in Croatia. They didn't speak English. I didn't know how bad my injury was. I was like, do I need surgery? What is going on? Did I break it? What is it? Is it torn? I didn't know what was happening. But luckily, thank God, it was just like a stretched ligament, so it didn't tear, because if it tore, I would have needed surgery. So that way I could, it was stretched, so I just was in a cast. So depressed. Like, it was so depressing too, being on tour but injured. Watching the show go on without you is like so depressing. You don't even realize until you're in that position. You're like, you don't, like, it makes you just not take anything for granted. You're like, this could be taken away in an instant. And that's my life. Like, what I do is I dance. So if my ankle, my knee, my back, something is out, like, I got to figure something else out, So that was definitely like a scary moment in my career where I was like,
how did you handle your depression? How did you handle that?
I surround myself with like people, my close friends, and people who I knew loved me. And I just tried to stay positive. I was doing everything I could to heal as fast as possible. And then I slowly but surely started going back in the show. Like, the first show I did, I think I did 2 songs, like only 2, but it was better than 0.
Nothing, right.
Yep. And I had to wear like a different shoe on one foot because my foot wouldn't fit in the shoes, and like hit it with a pant and stuff. Like, it was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It sucked.
And speaking of love, let's show the ring.
Oh.
Let's show the ring. She's currently engaged to John Silver.
I am.
Yes, shout out to John.
Hey, babe.
So how is it with you constantly being on the road and having a successful relationship? Please help me. Tell me how to...
Girl, I mean, relationships are work.
Yes.
Okay, let's be real. They do not come easy. They are work. But, I have a man who is in it as well. He's in this industry as well. So he understands my hectic schedule. He's been in it before with me. He's worked with Beyonce too, and he knows what it's like, and he does it himself. So we both understand, which is the best part about our relationship. But then, obviously communication is key. FaceTime. Shout out to FaceTime.
Okay.
Because that saves a lot of stuff when you're like overseas somewhere for 2 months and you can't physically see the person. But yeah, I mean, we make time for each other. After it's been like a month and a half or 2 months where you're hitting that mark, like, all right, something's got to give. that's when one of us takes the trip somewhere.
Okay.
You know, we make time for each other. Even when we're both home and busy, we have to be like, all right, we need like date night because I've barely seen you and we're both in the house, you know?
Wow. Yeah. Very good. I love it. Thanks. So what's next for you? Where do you see yourself 5 years down the road?
Oh my gosh. 5 years down the road, I will hopefully be married because now it's been a year and I'm still not since we've been engaged. But
wait, are you planning?
We are slowly planning.
Okay.
That year flew by, first of all. I don't know how people do it in a year. I'm like, that's crazy.
Because you're no disrespect to anybody else, but you're extremely busy.
No, yeah. Like, I don't know how people do it in a year. It's really wild. And ours flew by. We just hit our year, and we're like, oh, okay, now we'll think about plans and venues and stuff like that. But married, children eventually, probably in, like, the next 5 years. I might be, like, engaged by then. Engaged. Pregnant is what I meant. Pregnant. And, I mean, I've gotten my hands in a little bit of fashion, and then I want to act too. I did my first like short film, and I only acted. I didn't dance in that, so that was awesome, and I like want to do more of that. And then, I don't know. I have like a lot of plans, but we'll see. We'll see where the road takes us.
Let's talk about your fashion line.
Clothing brand called Piece of LA, and it's Ashley Everett times Piece of LA.
I love it. Get that back.
Get it. And we did like 6 looks. So I have like a couple dresses, this jacket, another jacket, and some tops and these jeans and some black jeans. And yeah, I'm like selling it and posting it on my Instagram. That's like the way that we're doing it so far. And we plan on doing more looks and taking it from there.
Yes, I love it. What is it called again?
Piece of LA.
Piece of LA.
Yep, Piece of LA.
Where did the name come from?
Well, you know, it used to be called something else, but she just recently changed the name because they're pieces of LA. Like, this is supposed to be like Cali girl chic, you know, and it's LA. Like, what LA girl isn't like a Cali girl, you know? Mm-hmm. And, and I'm a Cali girl, so our collaboration is just perfect.
I love it. Thanks. I love it. So I already got the inspiration behind the pieces, obviously.
Yeah.
Cali. So that's dope. I love it.
Thanks.
And hopefully we'll be seeing you soon on the big screen.
Yeah, I hope.
Doing your thing.
Might possibly be on Hit the Floor season 4. That's another one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's starting up. It's going to BET now, and they just announced that Tiana Taylor is going to be a new star in the show. So yeah, that's possibly happening.
I love it. Ari, do you have any questions? Look,
yeah,
Ari's ready.
Hold up. Give me my mic. Give me my mic.
I kept thinking, I got that hot flash.
There was like a couple things you said where I was like, yeah, and then I was like, oh shit.
No, you were in it. You were like,
I know,
silently like.
every time when I'm in school, my professors will always say I'm always in the front row, right? Because if you're in the front row, off the bat, statistically, you're gonna have a higher grade. But I'm always
I was always in the back.
My nonverbals are always like. So it's important though when you're talking. It's important.
Yeah.
So I'm a psychology minor, and my goal is to ultimately get my PhD. So I'm looking at you from it takes a lot of mental to get to the point that you are at now.
Right.
And as a human being, we all endure different psychological periods of our life that are less steady. Our external factors of where we're living, our financial situation.
Yeah.
Breakups are going to put us in a position where we are going to have to be flexible. And so if you wake up, which I'd be very surprised if this has never happened, and you just can't find the inspiration, or you're thinking, is this really my life? Am I worthy of this?
Right.
Right? Am I worthy? That's the most common human question. Am I good enough? Am I worthy? When are they going to find me out?
Yeah.
When you hear that self-talk, how have you been able to combat that and bring yourself to perform as you do, contrary to that?
Oh my gosh, that's deep.
Yeah,
Sorry, guys.
That was good.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's deep. I mean, I don't know if there is a right answer for that, or I don't know if my answer will be right. But, you know, I think every person has felt like that. Right. Every single one of us, like me included, Beyonce included, Michael Jackson, like whoever you are, everyone has felt like that at some point. And I mean, self-worth and self-credibility is big. You have to be a fan of yourself. You have to believe in yourself, because if you don't, no one else will. And I don't even care. Like, have you ever talked to those people who are just talking and making you believe something, but you know they're not necessarily right, but they are
to LA.
Yes, but they will make you believe it, and you will be like buying what they're selling, and then you're like, why did I get this? Like, I don't even, later on, like, what?
I don't even live on a lake. Why did I get a boat?
Yeah, like,
Right.
I don't know. It's that, like, that plays a huge part in success. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to, like, you don't have to be the best dancer to be a successful dancer or whatever, you know, or the prettiest model to be on the cover of Vogue. You know, it's all about pushing yourself, believing in yourself, and sticking to it. Like I said before, if you are passionate about it and you still love what you're doing, because what I cannot stand is people who hate what they do and do it. Like the mad people at McDonald's when I order nuggets, and you want to be angry at me because I want nuggets and I want sweet and sour sauce with it, and you're like, no, we don't have that. Like, why are you mad at me? You work here. Be nice. You know, like, so as long as you're passionate about it and still love it, like, pursue it. Push yourself beyond the limits.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. I'm trying to think here. Since this isn't live, I have a second. I mean, so okay, so that's wonderful. What is the best piece of advice that you learned in high school? Or what's the biggest thing you learned in high school that carried through to you? Because that's a really important age, right?
It is.
16, right, when you've got a lot going on at that time. What was something you were told, an experience that happened where you either said, I got to really change my life right here, right now?
Well, when I moved to New York at 16, first of all, I don't think a lot of people know this, but I didn't want to move. I wanted to stay in my small little hometown with my friends where I was comfortable and, you know, stay at they were going to put me in a private school. I always went to public school my whole life. I'm like, I don't want to go to private school now in my junior year of high school. Like, I've never been to private school before. I don't know any of these kids. They're probably going to be snooty. Like, New York is like all the way on the other side of the world. Like, I didn't want to go, like, honestly, at 16, at a naive 16 age and thinking. And my parents were like, well, you're going. So I was like, okay, well, whatever. Like, there was a part of me that wanted to go. But, you know, when you're that age, all you care about is your friends and your lifestyle at that time. So I had to let that go in order to be where I'm at today. And throughout my career and throughout my training, I've sacrificed a lot. And I think in order to be successful, you have to make sacrifices. And I missed out on proms and football games and school dances and parties and like all the social things because I was in rehearsal or at a competition or in New York training or, you know, whatever. And had I not moved to New York and went to that private school, I would have never been on tour with Beyonce at 17 years old because that private school allowed me to go on tour with Beyonce, come back 2 months later and graduate. So, like, it's just all, right? It's it's crazy. But imagine if my parents were like, oh, you don't want to go? Okay.
If your mom moved.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I don't know if we were making mad eye contact this whole time. My tears in my eyes, like, started. I mean, you don't hear about that. Right? Or you do hear about it, but that's like on Oprah 5 years later.
Right.
I mean, that's amazing stuff. That's a certain amount of love and dedication that it's no surprise to me you've reached this point, seeing that that's the type of support those were your seeds to grow. Because we have a lot of kids out here, men and women, that are in, unfortunately, home lives where those seeds they're not even planted
and they
yet.
have to do it themselves or find mentors or someone who can help encourage them or put them in the right places or introduce them to the right people, you know? Even, like, if you don't have that support system, I know a lot of successful people who came from, like, community schools or, you know, like, programs, and they just met the right people or had the right passion, and people saw that star and that light shining out of them. I don't know. Life is crazy. Life is a trip.
It really is. That's amazing.
So who are your mentors?
Well, like I said, Frank Gasson is like my industry father. Let's see. Who else is like a mentor? Jamaica Craft played a big role in my kind of dance career early on too, whether she knows it or not. I love her. She's Usher and Neo and like Sierra's choreographer and many others, of course. But she's awesome, and she gave me other opportunities. She put me in a girl group at one point where I was like, what? And she's like, I just think you're a star, and I think you have an amazing voice. I'm like, what voice? You've never heard me sing. She's like, your talking voice. I'm like, okay, well, thanks. And just gave me like that opportunity, you know? So she's been great. Who else? I mean, Beyonce is like a big sister, mentor, icon, legend, of course. Yeah, those are a few. And my parents, of course. I mean, they're amazing.
Shout out to your parents for real.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Man.
And my mom is like all over social media. I'm sure she'll be listening to this. She'll repost it and everything. Like, you guys will see her. Shout out to Christy Everett, okay?
Yes.
That's her.
That's amazing. Okay,
She sees stuff before I see it that I'm in, and I'm like, what? Where did you get that?
You're
Crazy.
like, Mom, send that to me.
Yeah.
Other than your dance, where is your heart for nonprofit? If you could donate money or get involved with your time, I'm sure you already do, in something nonprofit for nonprofit, where is your passion with that?
It would be in the arts, for sure.
Okay.
People who cannot afford to take the dance classes or music classes, singing, acting, whatever it is, it would be something in the arts, for sure. I even do workshops and teach for the students who can't afford to take classes. You know, I go to Guadeloupe, where they don't have money like that. They can't get out of Guadeloupe to come to America, or a lot of them go to Paris, but they can't get there, you know. So me and John both have gone there and just give back, find kids on the street and bring them into our class. And they are so talented, so beautiful, so passionate. It's like so inspiring. And it's really funny, actually. I went to Guadeloupe. One of the first times we went and learned a dance that was from Guadeloupe. And I brought it back to rehearsal with Beyonce and taught it to everyone in rehearsal and taught it to her, and she ended up liking it. And we added it in End of Time. You know that song, End of Time? Do you know how it like starts with those stomps? Like, have you ever seen the live performance where it's like stomp, 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 smack, stomp?
You know what? I'm going to be embarrassed. I haven't seen Beyonce perform yet.
Ever?
And I hate myself for it. So I bought.
It's okay.
I bought tickets to Coachella,
You
and
did?
that's when she announced that she was pregnant. She wasn't going to make
Right.
it. So I was like, damn it.
Did you go still?
I still went. So, but you know, I was like, I've never been to Coachella, so be both to experience both at the same time, Beyonce and Coachella. But I bought tickets for this year, 2018.
Oh, good.
So I'm like, I'm gonna see it. I have to see her because I heard it's an experience. Like from the moment you walk in, like just like the smoke, the lights. Like she's very strategic with everything. She's very detailed, and I heard like it's something that you have to see before you die.
Yeah,
and I'm
for
like,
sure.
Okay, that's on the bucket list.
A lot of the times you have to see it more than once or twice to even notice everything. Like that last tour that we were on, the Formation tour, it was a stadium tour. There was so much to look at all at the same time. Like I even would be on stage, and halfway through the tour, I'm like, I never noticed that was up there. Like what? It's crazy. Her shows are an experience. They are absolutely hands down amazing.
So how is it with, because she does like water and all, like how does y'all really be in there like
I mean it's not like this deep. So it's like not,
but
you're not
still,
gonna drown.
Like, you can slip or something. It's water. You know, y'all over here breaking
stomping
it down.
around. It's a lot of elements. There's pyro, there's elevators turning and all these things to trip on and knock your head on happening all at the same time, of course. But you know, that's show business.
Yes.
Showbiz.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm about to wrap. You have anything else?
No, thank you. Thank you for coming, Ashley.
You are
amazing.
You took the words out of my mouth. You are so dope.
Thanks, y'all.
And what really stood out to me the most, well, several things, but the fact that you and John went out and started dance classes for students and children who couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Because that was going to be one of my questions, too. Like, let's say there's young women who want to be a dancer and they can't afford the classes because it's so damn expensive. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you're aware of that and you know that people want to try to do something like that and you're giving them an opportunity, especially in a third world country or another country besides the States, man.
Yeah, that's what we love doing that. I love that. It feeds my soul. It's like my job is done, you know?
Yes.
Like fans and everything are amazing. That like is amazing, but like when you feel like you've done something for someone else, then you're like
that's the most satisfying feeling to me.
Yes.
You know, being able to help and give back than receive. You know, it's always cool to receive. You know, I'll take a present.
Thank you. Of course.
You know, but it's just nothing like giving back. I feel so good. And that's the whole point of this podcast, is to give back to young women, you know, giving them tools to be great, to be successful. So I want to thank you so much for dropping your gems of knowledge to help young women to be great and succeed just like how you have done such a great job at it.
Thank you, love.
So how can we follow you on social media?
Instagram and Twitter, Ashley CM Everett, not Mick Everett, CM Everett. People get it confused. And then Facebook, Ashley Everett. And is that it? Yeah, that's it.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, it's a wrap.